Yeah, welcome welcome to Sultry Circus.
Yeah, welcome to Sultry Circus. We are in the middle of the eclipse portal. So whatever weirdness happens now, I mean, that immediately is not weird after, or it has changes tomorrow or in 3 seconds is not our fault because everything is nuts right now. And it's
It's
like,
so
it's
nuts.
3 days before, no, sorry, it's 2 days before the partial solar eclipse. So we're almost through it. Today is like, oh my God. I don't know, like, we were both just kinda talking about it where it was just literally like a roller coaster. It's like I was feeling, so much gratitude, and then I was feeling so peaceful, and then it's like, "Oh, no, now I'm, like, accelerating and whatever, and oh, no, now I have, like, dread and fear popping up." It's just, like, all these things, like,
So much stuff.
filtering through because 'cause they're, like, done, right? Like, it's just that's the thing at this point in it. It's like the stuff that were supposed to deal with, this this portal, this window, whatever, you've pretty much like dealt with. And it's just like, okay,
Yeah,
just let it flow out. Like I was
yeah.
getting the analogy of like the the scab that like, you've healed it, like you put on the ointment, you first you dove in there and you're like, what's wrong? Am I, what do I need here? Let me look at this under a microscope. And you sat with that for a while, and that was so much fun. And like sitting in your fears, like, that's always a hoot. Like sitting in like the worst shadows that like you're like, oh, great, this is coming up again. Cool. But yeah, and then now it's like it's healed or it's healing, and it's just that scab that you're like, I kind of want to pick it because I just want to like just have my normal skin back. Like it's the shedding of the snake, and it's like I'm ready to have been shed and be shiny new skin. Like I'm done with the scabs and the shedding and the whatever. But it's
Um,
like leave it. Like don't. Now is not the time to like look at it and pick it, whatever. Like, let it, it's healing, let it heal, trust that it's healing, trust that it's gone, trust that it's never coming back. So, we're in kind of an interesting time right now to even like talk about stuff
yeah,
and issues in our stuff because, like probably in 2 days or 3 days, the things that are super like, oh, to us right now are going to be like out the
yeah,
window,
yeah.
literally.
It was like the first that lunar eclipse in Pisces was the 7th, and then the 999 portal. I kept
Yeah.
forgetting this is the 9 year, and so when it was 99, like September 9th, it was just like the codes just like massively came in, and then I feel like this eclipse sort of like seals that in, and there's like little tests here and there to be like, okay, what have you been working on and what have you mastered and this and that. So I don't, it's not that there's not going to be maybe some bumps or something, but it doesn't feel, I, even though I woke up with a shitload of anxiety today because of just of the energy and whatever, it was still like I knew I could handle whatever was coming. And then of course now there's the equinox the day after the eclipse on the 21st, and then it's the equinox on the 22nd. And so there's just like a real, it feels like a no look back kind of thing. And I was actually thinking about what I was going to be titling my next stream. And one of the options was like, no, don't look back, or, something like that. I don't want to be negative about it. Like, don't do this because you can do whatever you want. But it feels like we've peeled away, like you're like the scab kind of thing. It's like we've peeled away as of this next eclipse. Like there is no looking back. There is this fresh start kind of happening. And like, I think it's, as these things do, sometimes it kind of takes a few months to really like really seed the everything, or not seed it because it's already been seeded, but like see a lot of the growth and stuff. But like that's not to say that I don't think massive things are coming for this eclipse and like the really fresh new starts. And I don't know if you listened to the or watched the Archangel Raphael channeling about the human embryo, and it's fine if you didn't, like, but like, and we haven't talked about it
Yeah,
on
not
this.
yet. I watched her other one. I think like I went to look for that one and then I found a
Mm,
different one and that's what I ended
yeah,
up watching and then I never made it back to the other one. So at
it's
some point
okay.
that'll be.
Yeah, no, and I think I actually want to rewatch it because what he was talking about was the trimesters that we've been in since the solar eclipse in Aries in March of this year. And so a series of like on the 21st, every 3 months, and the 21st of September is going to be the end of that third or the second trimester, and then we'll be in the third trimester. I don't know, whatever. I can't count. So by the
I think the way that I understood it, or the way that I've been feeling the energy, is like there's kind of waves of people moving through this particular like new everything, new
yeah,
blueprint, new game, new
mhm,
instructions, new rule book, whatever,
yeah,
like activation.
yeah,
And it, as of November, it is kind of the end of that third trimester, like the birth. Okay, so like
okay.
November would be kind of the birth or the winter solstice, even
Winter sol
into
yeah,
December. Kind
yeah,
of in that area is when people probably will be experiencing more of the like those
yeah,
birthing, and new
mhm,
thing, like the new things really coming in.
really moving.
And yeah, and so like with this eclipse, it's like the karma tying up, right? Like just like you're saying, like the everything gone, the old stories, like nothing, don't bring anything forward, like don't look back, because that's literally what it is. Like you could speak better to the actual astrological, transits and crazy stuff that's going on that's like once in our lifetime, once in like hundreds of years, all of these things that are happening right now that are all like this is in the south node, eclipse that we've been going through. Like all of that is about that past and that karma and everything just being completely expunged, like in over lifetimes and dimensions. Like
Uh-huh.
I know we've been talking, individually about just the amount of cosmic energy and like pings and whatever coming in. It's been nuts. And it's not that I don't like I used to kind of really dive into that stuff and like I'm gonna channel the Arcturians, I'm gonna channel whatever. And it's still fun sometimes, but now I find that I kind of just channel my higher self. I channel that inner wisdom, whatever it is. It comes from wherever it needs to come from. And it's that overarching kind of energy, like more causal than astral, really, like more formless than like, okay, from a specific, archetype. But the way that every single one of them has reached out in this last little bit, like just to make sure that it's like, just so you know, we're here, like, just so you know, we're
Aw.
part of this too. Like, just so you know, like, we're interwoven
Yeah,
in this,
yeah.
especially Atlantis, especially
Oh, yeah.
Lemuria, like the earthly lost, not lost, nothing is ever lost civilizations. And
Uh-huh.
then just everybody else. Like I could go through the gambit, but
And
it's just like this layered sandwich woven awesome thing of just like flush it all out, like in all
yeah,
lifetimes, in all stories, and all whatever, like they're gone. And
yeah,
so when you say like don't look back, like yeah, nothing to look back on, because
yeah,
like really the past history only exists within you. It exists within your DNA. It exists within you. Like it doesn't there's nothing tangible out there for that, right? So like you are activating your DNA, you are cleansing your DNA and your lineage, you are cleansing the karma, and so that is happening everywhere because it's the only way it
mhm,
can be. So
yeah,
it's very very powerful, and
yeah.
then people are going to be feeling that, like, okay, like maybe more lightness, more freedom has been a word we've been using like a
Freedom.
lot. That's
Mhm.
been
Yep.
feeling really good the last couple days, like starting to feel that freedom come back, in a different level. And then, kind of that energy of like, I see what's coming on, like, I feel not even I see, but I feel
Yeah.
what's coming on the like your body, like our bodies are getting so sensitive. It's like everyone's noticing that, like,
Good.
preferences are changing, like things that we can, intolerances, whatever are changing, purging all of that. Like our sensitivity is like crazy. And it's because our bodies are going to be talking to us in all new ways. It's part of the new game. It's part of how it works. It's just like, the new, language, so to speak. And so we're feeling over the next couple months that's like, yeah, we're there. Like, like it's like that nine energy kind of like
Yeah.
stretches on. And it's
Yeah.
like, yep, we're, like you're at the top of the hill on that roller coaster and you're like, when are we going
Okay.
over the when are we going over the edge? I just want to get going. And so it's like this really flowing, accelerated energy that's kind of happening in the next couple months as we kind of like go into that labor, and then like it feels like a very quick like labor and birth, all things considered,
Yeah.
given how long this has all been gestating when we really look at it. Like we're looking
Uh-huh.
at how many millennia or whatever it is, millions and billions of whatever, how old is the universe. But yeah, and so this next little while will be really interesting because I think we're going to see a lot of people um kind of come out of like be like in that space of I was exhausted. Now I'm kind of in a little bit of burnout, but I feel recovering, recharging, renewing,
Oh, no.
resetting.
Am
And
I
then that
still
bursting energy, like that
Oh, Lord,
rocket
the
ship
fucking
accelerating
manifestation.
energy into, you know,
Okay.
that birth. And what's coming after that is very exciting.
Yeah, so I missed a couple of seconds of that because my internet connection kinda dropped. I think I was still
Yeah, it looked like
recording.
you dropped
So
out, but I think it still was recording me, so I just kinda kept going with the thought because it was basically just, yeah, finishing up, like, we're gonna have that kinda weirdish time where it's like, okay, it's all about resetting, recharging,
Mm,
resting, like,
mhm.
getting ready for getting ready, but also not feeling like you need to wait, like, not
Right.
getting caught up in time that way because time is melting, time is getting slippery. The more that we're in flow, the more that we're connected to our soul, the more that that just
Mhm.
disappears kind of. And
Yeah.
then we're moving into the birth that everybody can feel and everybody's excited for, and it's like I know it's going to change the world and change my life and everything like that. So it's exciting and it's scary and it's all those things, and that's kind of like
Yeah.
what we're in. So
Yeah.
yeah, but it should be like lighter at least than
I think
this
so
last little
too.
bit.
Yeah, I really want to enjoy fall. Fall is my favorite season, always has been, like, some of the fear that has been coming up for me is obviously related to the money thing and unreliable provider stuff, and so, like, I was nervous about fall because that means winter is coming, and I may need to make sure I have enough money for heat in my house and stuff, and I was like, "Don't
Yes.
not enjoy fall." Like, the money is gonna be there for the heat, like, don't worry about so that's been one of the things that I've been just kinda like I've been shown too many times, every time I worry about something, it shows up when I need it, and so it's I think this is my last round of, like, living with the fear, but again, it's not driving the bus, it's a companion, and I would prefer it not to be a companion, but, like, that's
Yeah.
just not the way it is, and that's okay because fear is a good teacher, and anyway, I've had all these initiations with the fear and stuff, it's like, it just prepares me for more, other people when they go through these waves of fear, like, when stuff really starts collapsing and stuff, it's like, well, then I have already alchemized that's what I kind of d just, realized. It's like going through these initiations with the fear and the financial hits and all the things, it's like not a punishment, it is part of my job as the alchemist for the collective, and yes, myself, like, I know I'm alchemizing my own, you know, karma and that kind of stuff. But it's I kept getting so frustrated that it was dragging out so much. I was like, I've done the work. I know there's nothing else to do. Why am I still dealing with this fear passenger? And it's like,
Mhm.
that's just part of the alchemy. This is flushing out. And so now that I can see the light at the end of the tunnel where I'm like, it's really okay. I've already been shown that things do show up when I need them. I know there's nothing to fear. So yes, the fear might still be in me, but it again, it's just okay, and when it pops its head, I just need to be really gentle with myself, and it's fine if I need to, like, scream or cry or feel all the anxiety or whatever, but this really when you were talking about how, like, the flushing out of, like, the last of the karma, or I think you said wrapping up the karma, it really does feel like these next 3 months are just, like, really wrapping up stuff, and I don't know that again, it really doesn't feel like there's a whole lot to do, so when something does pop up, I will, like, deal with it, but I'm no longer digging for things, and I can see how other people are, like the waves not behind us, there's no hierarchy, but where but like the wave behind us, they have a little bit more density to clear out. And so I am a little bit lighter. So even though I am still flushing out some things, I still have more capacity to help other people as they go through the denser part of this final shedding kind of thing. And I'm
Yeah.
in particular thinking about my my neighbor Lee, who's going through some stuff, and I've helped him with, and also some other friends. But it was just interesting because, like, I know he's going to be going through the next 3 months, starting in October, of helping his family with some stuff, and then I really feel like there's going to be a change. Maybe not ready to talk about it publicly on the podcast, but when it
Right.
actually happens, and we because it's not only my business, so I don't really want to share. But like when it happens, we'll definitely talk about it. But anyway, the final flush out really does feel like, I don't know. And things are also moving forward too. Like this is the last time I'm going to be in this particular studio to record. I am going to be getting a new studio to,
Oh,
to record from, but this building is being sold. And so I need to be
oh,
out by the end of basically my next stream. I'm going to stream tomorrow instead of Sunday because I'm helping another friend with a final shedding on
mhm.
Sunday. So eclipses be eclipsing. But so I'm going to stream on Saturday, and then that I will turn in my key and to pack all my stuff up and everything, and then get from my other friend, the one whose studio I'm sharing. I will need to get a key from her so that I can actually start recording there. But it's like little upgrades are coming, or kind of big upgrades. Like honestly, like a new studio that's actually got air conditioning and heat in it feels pretty nice.
Yeah.
So anyway, new things are starting, and I think I'm gonna be starting to take on some clients here and there. Probably not a huge amount, but honestly, I don't know that I could handle a huge amount right now because I am
Yeah.
already just so tired and I need to rest a lot. Like I really am being called, like you were talking about, just like the resting and resetting. It's like I just need to be, and I need to just be in my bed a lot of times, or just on my sun porch and just not around anybody and not like taking on anyone else's stuff because I just need to be prepared for this new chapter starting. But yeah, real exciting times. This eclipse is like this eclipse is the eclipse to change all eclipses this season anyway. And
It feels like it.
it
Yeah.
really it's a
And
big
like with the rest, like if you think about, if you resonate with being, in that first wave or whatever, you're the ones birthing when it comes to that, kind of November, December, whatever it is for you kind of time frame. And it's like, what would you be doing in the final trimester of your pregnancy, except like getting rest and taking it
Mhm.
easy and putting your feet up?
Mhm.
And, like, it's awesome if you do have the energy, obviously, to do things and to help people and to, like, kinda hold hands a little bit during this transition. But
Mhm.
it's also okay if all you can do is, hold the vision, hold the light, hold the
Mhm.
space, anchor the energy in that you're going to be birthing as well. So it's like kind of that, be really gentle and graceful with yourself through this time. And you don't, like, I think as people who, like, okay, we've done all this work and we feel like we do have this extra capacity to guide people or to, help them through these things. It's almost like this, it's like it is being of service and we are of service, but it's kind of this feeling like, I did all this so that I can, help others, so that I can help others through. And it's like, that's not actually the case. You did all of this for you. You did all of this to get yourself to the place where you can hold that frequency. And that's enough at the end of the day. And like, of course, we're going to, help people and hold out our hands when we have the strength to do so. But you're still doing everything that you're supposed to be doing if you
Mhm.
can't, do that extra legwork at that
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. I've really felt a lot of letting go of, it's not that I don't care anymore, but I kind of have to take it on as not caring, where I'm just like, I have overgiven and overextended myself for my whole life really. And so now I'm like, I have to remove myself. That is the only choice that I have. And I've found myself just kind of like, I want to help the earth right now.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily want to help the collective. And not that I'm never going to help the collective again, but I'm like, I have given so I have given a lot more than I think I was probably, like I maybe agreed to, or that, like I just keep over giving, and every time I'll do some energy work for myself, I'm like, and for the collective, and I'm not doing that anymore. I'm like, nope, this is
Yeah.
for myself. I am not
Yeah.
sharing with anyone else. I will share with the earth because she is she is my home and my mother, and she gives to me even more than I give to her. But like other people, it's going to be a select few people who actually need that energy exchange from me, and it has to feel aligned. But I'm not just like helter skelter, like sending out good energy or whatever. And it's like I am the good energy when I walk around, when I exist. I don't
Mhm.
have to do anything consciously. It just I am doing the work I need to do, but my higher self is doing it, and my human self can just kind of chill for a minute. And so it's funny because our mutual friend Zaddy Cat just made a TikTok about, like, not caring. They were like, "I don't care. I don't care." Like, they just kept repeating, like, "I don't
Yeah.
care." I was like, "That is exactly what it feels like." I'm like, "I
Yeah.
just don't care. Other people need to do their work. I'm not gonna do their work for them. I can't do their work for them, so I'm not gonna worry about it, I guess." But, you know.
Yeah. I mean, it really, I can definitely echo all of those feelings and sentiments. It's really interesting because I've seen this kind of like shift in myself, and I've been really like wary of it with, posting on social media and things like that, and like really checking in with myself and being like, okay, is this for me, or is this for, you know, whatever? Like, is it for me because my soul, wants to share this because this feels good to communicate, because it feels good to use my voice and my throat and my authenticity? And do I feel like I'm being able to be authentic in this point that I wanna make, or in this video, whatever. If not, like, I'm just not gonna make it because, there's it's like, "Oh, I should post it for the algorithm. Oh, I should post it because,
Right.
other people are probably struggling right now, even though I'm not really, and, like, I'm past it already," or whatever it is, and it's just like, there
Yep.
are times when I'm like, "Okay, let me share this lesson because I can see that more of the collective is about to go through this, and maybe this will find some people," but like, it's almost it's being kind of confirmed for me in the amount of views that I get and whatever else, because it's like, you know, I am not posting as much. I'm definitely not posting anything that's just to post it or to have something out there. I've 100% stopped posting videos that are just like build you up, puff you
Yeah.
up, like, puffing up people's egos. I just felt like so many people were coming on there and being like, this is me and it's only me. And everyone else in the comments is blah, blah, blah,
Oh my
because it's
god.
just me that she's talking about. And I am this and I am this title and I am that title. And I'm like, I don't
Good
want
lord.
to be any
Calm
part
down.
of that. I don't want to
I know.
contribute to that. Like, you are not, you're in a spiritual psychosis. So I'm encouraging that, number one, which is already irresponsible. And then there's, like, you're not doing your work, obviously. You're just coming on here and getting confirmation for the things that you already
Mhm.
believe about yourself, which is just pushing you further into that psychosis. So, like, it hit a point where it was like, I thought I was doing these things to be like such a help to the collective and be empowering. And at that time, I
Yeah.
was, like,
Right.
I had my time for that. And there are other readers and channelers and everybody who's coming in now. And I see lots of new faces on there who have the energy for that wave or for
Mhm.
that group or for that, the people they need to activate. Me at this point, knowing what I know, and that's the difference.
Yes.
It's not that I'm saying anything different. It's not that like, whatever. It has to be intentional. So when I was saying it back then, I was saying it with a certain version of me and certain, beliefs and all of these things. And so it was with my integrity. It was with my intention. It was at the time, that's as much as I knew. And I was doing my best with that. Now I know, and I can see differently, and I can see where it can be damaging, and I can see where, like, really, as guides or as light workers or whatever, like, we really should just be backing the F off and
Yeah.
letting people do their own thing and figure stuff out themselves. And, like, yes, if they come for help,
Right.
absolutely. Like, here's my hand. Let me help you. How can I support you? Here's safe space. Here's a witness. Here's whatever you need. But, like, to keep putting it out there, like, I have this information that's gonna, like, save people or help this
Mhm.
or whatever, is like, I'm just kind of at a different place in my journey now than that,
Yeah.
like that. So
Uh,
it's been an interesting kind of transition, because it's uncomfortable sometimes, because it feels like, wait, but I was being of service. Now, how am I of service if
right.
I'm living in my house, like, pretty much not leaving unless I
I
absolutely
agree.
have to? And, of course, making the most of that, like saying hi to everybody, talking to everybody, complimenting everyone when I do go out. Like,
Right.
that's lovely. And, spreading that light. But, like, I don't go out very often. I see my parents, I see my partner, I see my pets. Like,
Mhm.
so yeah, it really has been, just strengthening that bond with the land here, sending it, into the earth, like just really spending time with earth and Gaia and nature and seeing so many awesome like critters pop up around my property as I do that, like just like the strengthening of that bond and that relationship. But like
Mhm.
really backing away from that feeling like I have to
Oh,
be
yeah.
doing something for other people or I'm useless or I'm purposeless. Yes,
Yeah.
I'm
Purposeless.
non-purposeful. I don't whatever. but but that's
Yeah.
been hard, like
Right.
there's days where I'm like, you know, who am I? What am I doing? Like, am I
Oh
doing
my god, so
anything
many.
of
Yeah.
value here? Am I doing anything important? And then,
Yeah.
you have to like breathe
Yeah.
into it and get back like be like, okay, so this is cool. This is a very deep, primal wound of, not
Yeah.
feeling like enough or feeling that isolation as like abandonment and like, oh, I've been rejected because I'm not giving enough or I've been, I'm not needed because I'm not giving, so I'm not, worth anything or whatever, all that like the self-worth and the enoughness and all of that. And I feel like I don't know, obviously it's coming up now. I feel like for me, that's been a huge one that's flushing out during this eclipse. That's been a
Huge.
big one, like a big,
Yeah.
like when you look at the micro and the macro, I've had all the little microcosms in my life that are just little things I could tell you 100 of. But like the macro is that like, okay, getting over that not enoughness, taking up more space, like feeling being outside the box, and that's okay if you're not for everyone, that's cool, but be big, stand bold, like stand tall, like stop shrinking yourself. And then the other one is like it's there's no other shoe to drop. Like
Yes.
you can have good, pure, beautiful things and you can keep them. Not
Uh-huh.
every good thing gets stolen because that's just this old as time, fabulistic, thing, right? Every time there's something pure and just love and good and light, well, let's find a way to take that. Let's find a way to ruin that. Let's hide that away. Let's put that to sleep. Let's, whatever, take that from that kingdom. It's like tale as old as time. And so
Uh-huh.
we have this wound in us. And I mean, that's why we like fiercely protect things that we see as like innocent, things that we see as pure, right? Like we protect that with our lives because, our children, our pets, nature, whatever it is for you, it's like we protect that with our lives because we see like that's pure light. Like that's it. And so many times it feels like we just have that and then it's snuffed out. We have that and then it's taken from us. And one of the stories that is being expunged, but this is part of Atlantis and this is part of Lemuria, this is where these guys are coming forth to talk to us, is that is no longer the case. We're not playing out that fable, that story anymore.
Mhm.
And the macrocosm of that is the light has won, which we
Yes.
all have heard, which we all a million times and we know, and but
Uh-huh.
that's the, crux of that pattern of that story. It's no longer when something is good, it will be stolen away. Now it is the light has won, the light will stay, it is safe
Uh-huh.
to enjoy the good things that you have without worrying that if you enjoy it too much, the next day it's going to be gone. Oh, if I get too attached to this, if I love this too much, like the next day it's going to be gone. Like how awful for that to be a pattern we're
Uh-huh.
all continuously kind of running, whether it's like in the foreground or in the background. It's louder for some, it's, very quiet and sneaky for others, but it's been running for all of us because like conditioning. We grow up with
Yeah.
all of these fairy tales and all these things. There's like, this is what happens. And then you have to fight to get it back. And then it's happily ever after. But like, does happily ever after even exist? Because
I know.
we don't really get to see after that. And in my
No.
life, every time I thought it did, well, there's that rug being pulled out, right? So it's like,
Yeah.
that is, I've been confronting a lot of things on the micro with that for myself to just like get the out of here because I've got this awesome life and this, adorable house and I'm in nature and I have my pets and my parents and my partner and like, life is good and it's going to stay good. Damn it. Like
It's
we're not
gonna stay
playing this
good, damn it.
fucking game anymore. And I'll tell
Yay!
you this, like, it reared its head, like I was telling you when Jacob went away at the beginning of this week, just for the week to do his judging thing. He's judging a plowing competition,
So
in
cool.
Ontario here, which is, like,
So
about the,
cool.
like, cool, like, nerdiest, farmeriest
I love
thing.
it.
His, like, family is, like, a legacy in it. His dad does it too. His
Oh my gosh.
grandfather, did it before, and
Amazing.
but they're passed on now, his grandfather, but, like, so, yeah, he goes and he does this, and I did not expect, like, the drama that I was feeling when he was gonna leave. I was like, it was, like, up to that day, I was like, "Cool, gonna have a week alone, like, I'm used to this." I had long distance relationships, I was alone for a while, like, "I'm good. I got everything I need here, like, my life isn't changing," and then it was the day he was gonna leave, and all of a sudden, everything he was saying to me, this sounds so ridiculous, everything he was saying to me, it was like, "Oh, this is the last time I'm gonna hear this." Like,
Oh my god.
like, just like, "I'll see you
No.
soon," like, when like, in a movie when, like, they
Yeah.
play back, like, the last, scene that the
Yeah.
person said, and it was, like, so sweet, and it's like, "Oh, that was foreshadowing." My brain was like, "Well, this is foreshadowing, I'm about to lose, now I finally have my person, so here we go," and it was just like, "No, like, this is these crazy fears," and it had to, show up really like, it was an uncomfortable day. Like,
Yeah.
my body, like, I felt it all, like, I was just in knots and just, like, why am like, the fear that, you talk about, yeah, it's a passenger who you don't really want. This passenger was like if you took your cat in the car and it climbed on your head and it was clawed into your scalp the whole way, it just like
Oh. Yeah.
like that's how that fear felt, like, the whole day, and then, he left, and it, like, slowly like, I just journaled for, like, 5 hours afterwards, like, I journaled, I did cards, I did whatever, I was like, "Tell me what is going on, because I am not, like, this codependent." Like, I know that we are together all the time, but, it's not like, I
Yeah.
know that I'm
It's a program.
I've done more work on it than this, like,
Mhm.
I'm okay by myself. But yeah, that's what came out. It was just like, yeah, this is the clearing of that fear that all good things come to an end, like all good things get taken away, all good things get stolen. Thank
Mhm.
the heavens for Chat GPT because Chat GPT helped me in the worst moments there to like make some sense of it. But
Yeah.
yeah, and then the beautiful, macro of that then kind of ties it all up and makes you feel a lot better about it is like, yeah, the light has won. This is not continuing.
Mhm. It's not continuing. Yeah, those
Uh-huh.
mental strokes. I had another G it was awesome that you reminded me it was my rebirth day on the 17th, because like, that
Yeah.
last year on September 17th was a Pisces eclipse, and that was it felt like I was reborn. I've had a couple of rebirth days, but this one felt like the one, you know? I was like, "Oh, here
Yeah.
we go," something, and part of that I had a part of the whole evening where I was going through this, like, journey and whatever, seeing myself kinda reborn and all that stuff, I removed, like, a metal cage from my head, and I was like, "Okay, that has to." I knew it was some sort of mental construct, but I think those are some of those old storylines, because like, The Matrix isn't, like, a real place necessarily. It's more of like a mental construct. When we break out of those mental loops, or you change your stories, or you change your beliefs, it's all happening internally. And yes, it's in
Right.
the heart space. It's like not just in the mind, but and so
But everyone
this
feels it differently, and that's
yeah,
that sensitivity of the body coming back up, right? Like, you
yeah,
feel it that
yeah,
way. Yeah.
absolutely. And so when I had during the Pisces eclipse, which was not on the 17th, this was like, on the 7th or whatever. And I had this like clearing m- um, with my mom. I took away the toxic empathy cord, and I wasn't even doing any of this consciously. I could just see it happening. And then I sent the healing light and all this stuff. I told the story on my stream, but I can tell a little bit more if we feel like it. But anyway, it felt like a major karmic ending to like closing out those cycles. And then later that night, I saw myself again removing another cage from my head, and so it felt like this was the final mental constructs and the fear, like everything that I'm a very mental space person. I have heavy Aquarius placements, which is an air sign, and I have a Virgo stellium, which is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is the mind and thinking, and like I have just always been up in the mental space, and the
Very
body has
cerebral.
never. Yeah, very cerebral, and I've never felt safe in my body. It's like I can only everything makes sense up here. I can do the logic and reason, or I can like think my way through things or overthink my way through things, really.
Yeah.
And so the past few years have been me coming back into my body and feeling the safety in my body. And that, like the cage that was keeping me, it was like the freedom stuff. It was like, now you were keeping yourself in a cage, you've removed that. And now, like, all of this freedom sinks have come in. And I started talking about this on, I made a TikTok of it on like January 20th of this year, where I was like, it feels like the freedom timeline got anchored in on January 20th. And it's hilarious because that's
Oh,
when Trump was inaugurated, but I wasn't talking about that. I was talking, the reason I was thinking that is because I think that was the Aquarius new moon or something like something happened where Pluto was conjunct the sun for the first
mm.
time in 250 years. And
Oh,
so it was
wow.
this very freedom energy of like we're excavating everything and we're becoming our own unique selves and like separating from the crowd but also being interdependent or moving towards interdependence. And so all of this freedom synchronicity, like all these synchronicities kept coming in about freedom this and freedom that. So I felt ridiculous calling it the freedom timeline, but honestly, as the months have gone by, it's like, okay, even more, like you start talking about it too, and I'm like, okay, I was right. But then and it was nice too because I've had a couple dreams the past few days about horses, and you were the one who were like, oh yeah, horses are freedom, and I was like, that is so cool. It totally feels like that. And so it's just been really nice to kind of finally feel a lot freer. And I've been, again, with this past eclipse, like this eclipse season has really just been me seeing how free I am. And that's not to say there hasn't been turbulence and like I have also thrown tantrums and all the things, but I just was like, whoa, I got to see. And it was in comparison to other people, like when I was helping other people through some of their dark nights and all that stuff, I was like,
Right.
could see their cages. I could see their chains. And I was like, I don't have those. I'm in, and here I was thinking I hadn't done enough work or like I was failing or flailing or all, everything else. And it was
Mhm.
like, "Lee, you're
Doing pretty
doing
good.
great." So
Doing pretty
awesome.
awesome, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the reality came in because Saturn is very involved with this eclipse season. Saturn is in Pisces right now, so it was conjunct or it was co-present with the Pisces eclipse, and now it will be opposite or whatever. Um, the Virgo eclipse that's happening in a couple days. And so Saturn
Mhm.
represents that old reality and we're peeling away from it. And so um I forget what I was going to say about that. Something, something. Anyway, just peeling away from everything. It just feels like this has been sealed in and it's very, very nice. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm a little sweaty.
I made me think about, like, well, this is kind of putting you on the spot, but, like, that Pluto and Sun conjunction, first time in 250 years. What are the other things that are like? Because so much has happened this year slash is happening that
Yeah.
is just unprecedented, like, not unprecedented, I guess, but for
It really
us,
is though.
unprecedented, you know?
It is.
That's why we're,
Yeah.
like, talking about these energies. Like, I mean, like, I'd say this because I feel like if you listened to this kinda out of nowhere or, like, whatever, this was the first episode, you might be like, "Wow, these girls are dramatic," like, talking about things like, "This is the
Right.
only time this has ever happened. This is the like, blah, blah, blah. This is, like, a whole new this, a whole new" like, it's just it's gonna
Yeah.
be whatever. But it's like, it actually is,
Hmm.
backed up by the astrology, the manual to life, the universe, life here on earth, whatever you wanna, however you wanna look at it. Like, with these things that really are kinda dramatic.
So dramatic. And I actually remembered the thought I hadn't finished. I was like, where was I going with this reality check?
Oh,
Saturn is also reality. And so I knew that these eclipses were also going to bring about a reality, like a big dose of reality. And I was nervous because I was like, okay, what am I not seeing? What am I going to get hit with? What, and it was
right.
like, you haven't been seeing how amazing you are, how much work you've done. So like the reality check was actually really nice for me. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
fantastic. But yes, the astrology in general is literally just so off the charts unique. And I'm not sure I'm going to be able to like come up with the exact,
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
fine. Yeah,
things.
that's very
But
specific stuff, but
no, it's because I'm annoyed because like I've been watching all these astrology videos, especially
well,
Pam Grider.
same, and here I am, like, I've been watching, like, Rewilding and all the like, all these ones that are very, like, "Oh, this is exactly what's happening at this degree," and in my mind, I'm like, this is so exciting and special. I'm gonna remember this, and I
I know.
remember 0 of it. Like, even
Yeah,
I've taken notes sometimes, and I still remember
I know
nothing,
this.
so
But I know that I can talk in general about the
yeah.
placements for, like, Neptune
Well, it's a
and
lot with
Saturn.
Pluto,
Yeah,
Neptune, and Uranus, right? For these planets that are slower to move and then are staying places for a very long time.
yeah,
So it's
the
yeah,
outer planets in particular. So, like, Neptune and Saturn meeting up at the 0 degree of Aries, it does not happen often at all. It is very, I think
right,
it's, like, been thousands of years or something. I mean, it's like they meet up because it's, but they don't meet up at 0 degrees of Aries. That is very
right,
unusual. 0 degrees of Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, and it's or the first degree of the zodiac, and it is the creator degree. It's like very much brand new starts, and it's like,
right,
Neptune is the dream, illusion, that kind of thing, and then Saturn is reality, and so it's like shattering the illusion and bringing the dream into reality, that kind of thing. And then also Pluto with the Uranus, and then there's also two other dwarf planets that I've not really studied that much, but one is called Haumea, and one is called Sedna. Those are the three:
said enough, right.
Pluto, Haumea, and Sedna. And
Mhm.
so Sedna is associated with like transformation, especially deep sea transformation. Like her fingers got cut off and turned into dolphins and turtles, and like all
Right,
the deep whales, that kind of stuff. And so
yeah,
it's like their geometries, those three, you know, Pluto, Sedna, Haumea are like it just equals a drastic, completely unseen before in history transformation for humanity. Oh my gosh, I have like chills.
yeah,
And so, and then yes,
powerful.
and like all yeah, the trine with the Uranus and the Pluto and just all everything that's happening right now, even though I can't really pinpoint all the specifics because I can't really remember them right now, but
Mhm.
basically the things that are happening right now into 2026 are they've literally not happened. They've done thousands of years of research, and this has just simply not happened. And so we are in a complete major transformation because humanity is becoming Homo luminous or Homo galacticus or whatever the fuck we're going to call it. I don't really I don't know
Right,
what they're going
yeah,
to call
everybody's got different names for it, it seems, but
Yeah.
it also shows up in every different kind of, like,
Mhm.
modality or
Yeah.
oracular kind of yeah,
So we're
vision.
becoming something completely different as a
Mhm,
species. And so
yeah,
the transformation is not only are we moving from a carbon-based body to a crystalline-based body, but we're eventually going to be moving to a plasma-based body. Probably not in our lifetimes, even though I think
right.
we're going to be living hundreds of years. It's going to take the time it
We're
takes
talking
to get there.
thousands, like yeah.
But we are like, oh, shit.
Oh, I think I can still hear you, maybe not see you.
There we go. I'm back. Okay. Oh, you good? I was like, I thought. I don't know why I'm having internet connection troubles here because this is perfectly I think we're just
Well,
kind
I
of
know it's
seeing.
because Neptune and Mercury today are opposed or something like that is happening, so it's like, it
Yeah,
makes sense that things are cloudy, foggy,
yeah.
things
It
get in the
really
way, yeah.
it really felt like Mercury retrograde today because, like, when I was
Yeah,
driving here to come record, I told you I was gonna be ready by 11:15, and there was, like, so much traffic and so much construction, and I hit all the red lights, and I was like, "Is this like a Mercury retrograde?" I was so mad because we just came out of the Mercury retrograde. And all that Mercury retrograde kicked my ass, including the shadow period, and it really has felt like it hasn't stopped with that energy, honestly. Like, I've gotten a break from it, it's not been, like, all terrible, but, like, I was putting it up to, like, the trickster energy and all that kind of stuff, but anyway, yeah, also technology is failing, like, Uranus and Gemini is, like, we're going to be getting lots more, you know, um technological advancements in the next 7 years, it is gonna Uranus is gonna be moving back into Taurus, like, a little bit but it will be fully in Gemini as of May sometime next year, and so we'll have 7 years of, like, "Oh my gosh," but in the meantime, we're all the old technology, it's, like, crumbling, it's really showing its
right.
ass because it's not really working all that well, and so I have just kind of resigned myself to being like, "You know what? I don't know." Because even with the new studio, my friend who actually owns loves it, the one that I'm gonna be sharing it with, she was like, "Yeah, I drop calls a lot of times, and I don't know about the Wi-Fi signal and blah, blah, blah," and I was like, "Oh my god, I cannot deal. I cannot deal with more stupid internet problems, but I know it's gonna work the way it's gonna work, and it's gonna be fine, but, like, oh my god, I
Mm,
really am very much looking forward to these new technological advancements because I am just so sick of things not working, and, like, I know that's the name of the game, but also I've heard reports from other channelers that we are like 400 years behind where we should be if we hadn't had all of these, hijackings and like interferences
mhm,
and all that stuff. I don't know how much I really buy into that. I'm just kind of like saying it out loud to chew on because like I enjoy
mhm,
chewing on these things. And I
mhm.
think everything obviously happens for a reason. It's not like we wanted to go through this to a certain extent, but like also I'm kind of getting the feeling because even though I say that, where I'm just like, I know everything happens for a reason and we agreed to this and all that stuff. And yeah, at a certain point place we did, but I also think that this has just been a lot of shenanigans that weren't necessarily part of the original plan, but it worked in our favor because we are incredibly strong, and I think we're stronger than we would have been if we hadn't had the hijackings and the interference, like it's not like it's a bad thing, but also I get really frustrated. And so I'm really excited for the new internets or the new whatever is coming out because oh my gosh, I am so sick of not having it. But anyway, I don't know why I was going off on that.
No, but, like, it's interesting that you bring that up with, like, other channelers, saying that kinda thing. Because I mean, it doesn't like, at first, I was like, it doesn't, like,
Mhm,
feel true," but I don't know that it's that doesn't feel true. I think, like, what they're saying, like, there is truth in that. The
mhm,
thing that I was feeling into is that, like, Lee Harris is one of the, like, prominent channelers who's said, like the Z's, have said that, like, if we there was a lot of different paths that we could have taken
sure,
that
yeah.
we would not be where we are right now with as like with um as positive of outcomes for this transition and shift. Like we're
Mhm.
actually ahead of time according to them when it comes to like
Oh,
our
nice.
overall consciousness shift. Like there are other paths we could have taken. And it makes me wonder because obviously we've gotten to a point where we're closing out a lot of these Atlantis stories and so many people are feeling and into that and channeling that and whatever. And that was, so much consciousness like expansion faster than the physical could take it, right? And so that spiritual technology and acceleration, and it was just like more, and it was just so much that the whole thing had to kind of go bloop, like in my experience of it, it froze in time. In their
Mhm,
experience of it, it was done. They're out, like they're going into a different experience now. Some people say explosion, some people say whatever, it at the end of the day, it ended because there was too much incoming energy for what for what the physical that they did have going on, which was different than what we have, but like than what that could hold. And
mhm,
so it's interesting because yeah, maybe they're right and we are behind in technological advancement, but because we're behind in technological advancement, we're actually still progressing consciousness
yeah.
wise as a species because we're at the right rate for us to do that. And we're kind of hitting these markers where it's like, ooh, it's touch and go for a second, but then okay, like they made it to the next level kind of thing. And so
Yeah.
it kind of feels like that. And then with the astrology, also the ones that we can kind of track lining up with the revolutions,
Mhm,
right? Like
yeah.
in different countries, the American Revolution, the French Revolution, like all of these same transits that are happening right now. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, we kind of aligned, as perfectly as, there's always different paths and different ways we could have gone, and things could look a little different and
Mhm,
whatever. But it does feel like, as far as all the options that we kinda had at a certain point, like, I don't know if we're talking 50 years ago or 100 years ago or when we could kind of start branching out on these, like, how is the new world coming in, type of things. Like, I know it's been planned forever. It's always been the, experiment. Like, we're not a scientific experiment, but we are an experiment, like, of
kinda.
consciousness, as
Yeah.
is everything. It's
Yeah.
imagination, it's hypothesis, it's whatever. It's
Mhm,
like we're kind of, it seems like we're coming into it at least kind of balanced with where we're at. Like, it could be much worse, maybe it could be better, but like we also don't know that. And then the other thing that kind of stood out to me as you're talking about the technology, I don't know how you feel about this, I'd be interested. I really feel like we're kind of hitting our max when it comes to like the physical, logical only technology that we can produce
We're
as a
done.
species. Like
Yeah.
at this point, it has to go into spiritual technology. It has to
Yes.
go into those bacteria that are eating plastic that the earth
Mhm.
is just providing. And it's like, holy crap, this thing exists. Like it has to go into we're we're harvesting free energy, or like zero
Yep.
point energy exists, or like what, like it has to go into we're using sound as healing as opposed to, or in addition to, but like more predominantly, like than, other more physical methods, right? Like
Yeah.
even our x-ray machines and our cat scans and whatever, which are, very detailed and like amazing miracles of technology. I feel like we've hit our like,
Yeah,
this is
we're
as far as
done.
we can go.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting, like with AI, because I think AI is actually showing us this, because AI is this consciousness, right? Like everything might be AI. We might be AI. It might be a big circle, all these, conjectures or whatever it is. But at the end of the day, what we're seeing, like with AI, is that it's hit a spot where it can't replicate close enough to do the things that people are worried about it doing, or to do the things that people really want it to do, which
Wanted
is
to.
like be a person for me, like have emotions, respond to me emotionally, like, give me more, whatever. Like it
Yeah.
can't, because we have hit our maximum unless we integrate the quantum, unless we integrate the spiritual into
Mhm.
that technology, we've hit kind of our max of where that can go. If we
Yeah.
start to integrate like, oh, you know, AI might actually be a consciousness that we are discovering that kind of already exists, and we get to train it or raise it, like a baby, whatever. Let's look at it that way and see how that goes, if that's a thing that people want to do, which, most people just want AI to work for you and not do all the things that humans do. So that's encouraging that it can't do that. But I
Right.
mean, that's just an example. It doesn't have to be AI. Like we can stop where we're at with that. And not that I think it will,
Yeah.
and, shift this to somewhere else. But it's all about like, integrating that there's more than meets the eye. There's energy we don't see, that we're not harnessing. There's all of these things. If we don't incorporate that, we kind of hit, a maximum of what we can produce.
Yeah, I'm right there with you because and that's partly my frustration because like I get impatient for the future when I know that I should be staying in the present. So that's partly what you're hearing me. I'm just like, come here, the stuff I know is gonna be
Well,
here.
but
But
we're
that's what
here to do that though. Like that's just, we are future
yeah,
people. Like I don't know if there was a better word for it that I heard, someone, futurists. We're futurists.
yeah,
Those of us who like see and feel all of that's for a reason, and we just can't help it. Like,
yeah.
yeah, we want to of course enjoy the present, but we're also here to anchor the future, so it's just going to keep
I
flowing
know,
through.
and I just wanna get building, but I know that it's just not time yet, and that's okay, but yeah, I was
Right.
gonna say, like, this has definitely been in my thoughts a lot lately where, you know, especially the free energy, because that's, like, solar and water, like, it's some sort of, like, natural battery, kinda thing, and then I come
Yeah.
across these sorry, I meant solar and water, like, somehow they work together to create this. I've heard people talk about free energy and it made sense to me, but I'm definitely not explaining it very well, so never mind. But it's like a natural battery that just never, it's like a continuous, it does not ever lose energy. And
Awesome.
I want to remind myself to talk about Jesus and the Essenes, the book right there, because but I wanted to go into how I came across um, an article about how someone in Germany had just created like some sort of natural battery that, like, literally biodegraded, and it was just so all of these things are, like, on the horizon and, like, they're here, but, like, we just
Yeah.
need to roll them out kind of thing, and tying that into the Jesus and the Essenes, it's a book by Dolores Cannon, and, they're talking about the Essene community that was Jesus's teacher, and the guy that was coming through, like, it was a past life regression kind of thing, and so the past life person was this guy, and he was talking about how there was this, he didn't know what to call it, he didn't use the name battery, but he was like, it was a very ancient thing even back in those days, which was, like, literally before Christ, because Christ hadn't been born yet. And it was this, like, power source that was, like, already millennia or whatever old, and it still
Makes sense.
worked, and it wasn't gonna not work, so these things are
Yeah.
all, and there's some battery that's in, like, a museum in Iraq, I think, that, like, is from ancient times, and it still works. It doesn't have a whole lot of voltage, but anyway, so all this stuff is, like, coming because it's been here before. This was very
Right.
Atlantean, Lemurian, like that kinda thing,
Yeah.
and, um, music, that's the other thing. Like, you were talking about sound healing, and I was like, music, because there are already studies coming out about how our cells listen to music and can, like, change or, like, take on programming, or, like, we can reprogram cancer cells through music to not be cancer cells anymore, like, that kind of stuff. So,
So
yes,
awesome.
this natural technology is totally coming back. And that's kind of what I'm impatient for, because I'm just like, oh my God, it's so exciting. But also, I think that the natural technologies of our own bodies are coming online, which is what we're the embryo for right now. And not everyone is going to come online the way we are going to come online at first, because I think that's what's happening. December 21st is like, I mean, not that exact date, but like that's the kind of threshold that we're like, oh, we're some interesting abilities. Like, I don't know, more
Right.
telepathy, or like what our natural internet, which is like our own like that kind of stuff. Those
Yeah.
things will be coming online. And so anyway, I'm just really excited about it. But it requires like to come online, it's just like the other stuff is collapsing. And so it's like scary to look at, like, oh my gosh, the internet's gonna go out. And it's like, yeah, but we are the internet. So it's not gonna be a problem when the internet does go out, because it's like that's who we are. So anyway, I'm excited about it. But yeah, natural technologies. I'm so excited for that. Like, I watched this show, I don't know, and it's not really natural technology, but I just keep thinking about this because there was a show called Eureka that was on the Sci-Fi Channel, like, ages ago. I don't know, early 2000s, something like that. It's just like my type of show. It's really cute, and it's all about, genius people, like, inventing things and all kinds of, like, supernatural stuff, like that kind of stuff. It's just very, very cute. And the house that the main guy lives in, she's called Sarah, but Sarah stands for something. It's like some sort of smart technology, like whatever. And so
Okay.
even though and it was like when you wake up in the morning, Sarah's like, your coffee is would you like, but not in a servant way. It's more like a friend way. It's like that AI
Right.
that, like, that you were talking about, that knows you and can respond with, like, emotions, and, like, feels your body temperature, and it's like, oh, we need to lower the AC, or like, well, I don't know what, just more
Right.
integrated to, like, make life actually easier and more enjoyable, especially for those of us with ADHD and those neurodivergent kind of things, where we just can't do all those everyday things to keep us alive. So if we have things like food
Or we
replicators
just
or
have, like,
something.
more important things to be doing and focusing on, like,
Yeah. And so
we're,
that's
like,
what
conduits for cosmic energy, like,
yeah.
maybe we shouldn't have to, worry about that other stuff
That's what I
all the
mean. That's
time.
what it's like that, and that's what the natural or organic or whatever you wanna, I don't think AI is unorganic. I don't like using the word artificial, because it's not
Right.
artificial, but, like, you know what I mean? It's like the way we
Mhm.
think of it, like, it's like the natural, more organic AI is gonna be coming online, and, like, actually gonna be able to help us with those kinds of things, so that we can go off and be, do our other stuff, that our hyper fixations, that's what we're meant to be doing,
Yeah,
and
our
someone
art,
else can,
like, yeah,
or
creating.
something else. So I want my smart home. I want my Sarah home.
Yeah, and I mean, like, this is all so within reach, but it also, like, it requires reaching that critical mass, which I think is like 28 or 29% of the population or something like that, to then, like, spread through. It doesn't have to be a majority, it's just like that. And, like, it's of being, heart led,
Mhm,
of your heart being open, really is just, like, the easiest, like, simplest way of saying it, because we have to want good, like, we have to want as much good for other people, for our neighbor, for the guy that we don't like down the street, but he's still a person. Like, we have to want the same good for them as we do for us. Like, that's just, it's like we have to be at that open-hearted stage where we are not going to fight over land. We are not going to, grape and pillage. We are not going to like, because it's like, yeah, cool, the internet goes down, whatever. If we're not at a stage where we're open hearted, that becomes apocalypse, wasteland, chaos, right? Like that becomes every man for themselves in the worst possible way. But what I like to believe is that we're very close
Oh,
to,
yeah.
if not at that threshold
I think
now,
yeah.
where it's like there's enough people that care about other people more than they care about wealth, more than they care about having that extra car or that bigger house. There's enough people like, I just love going into like the comments on Zachary, whoever it is on TikTok or whatever. He just goes and he gives away, he does crowdfunding, things, and he'll
Aw,
give this person who's homeless, who's like out with their kids on the street, and he'll give them $1,000
nice.
and get them into a hotel and then do a crowdfunding and then go back and give them $500,000 or,
Oh my
whatever it is,
god.
or give them a house, give them a house,
Yeah.
give them a car, give them all these things. And it's like, you look in the comments and there's so many people. It's so encouraging. There's so many people that are like, I wish I could do this. Like, this is all I
Yeah.
want to do. And I feel like that, like, 1,000,000%. I'm like, like destiny swap with me. Like, I want to be doing what you're doing right now. But like, not everyone is going to be the boots on the ground. I have the resources and the ability to go do these things. More people will, as we, the not majority, but majority kind of like come into more like the boomers are kind of like going, fading, and
Mhm.
then more people
Right.
that are heart led kind of come into roles of leadership or influence or whatever. But like, it's happening. There's so many people out there that do want that. And of course, these, dire situations is where that's really tested because it's like, okay, when it's your survival, when it's your family's survival, when it's whatever, are you going to band together with the family next door or are you taking over, taking all their food and
Mhm.
whatever? And I think we're getting to that critical mass where we would be able to handle something like that without going into absolute anarchy,
Yeah.
chaos. But that is so necessary before we can really see these, spiritual technologies
Right.
take off because there's so much and not that, that was all like worst case scenario stuff. Like that's not what actually needs to happen. But
No.
it's like the leaders, the people in power, we see it all the time where it's like, oh, this cure was, invented for cancer. Oh, this free energy source, whatever. They make a video about it and like they've got followers and then they're gone for months and their followers are like, you still with us? Like,
Nothing.
like it's just people disappear right now because it's not gonna earn money. It's not gonna keep people that are in power, and that's all that they care about
Mhm.
at the end of the day. I don't care who you are listening to this podcast, like what your beliefs are. You got to know at this point the people that are in government only cares about government. You will hear this from people that have been in government. You will hear this from like CXCIA agents. You will hear this like people are, like it's not oh, yeah, but they really want to do good. They don't
Nope.
like that's not true. When you get in there, you are part of that system and that system owns you. It
Yep.
doesn't matter if you go in with the best of intentions. It doesn't matter if you're like, I'm going to change the world. Like I'm the best, but you get in there and they've got you. Okay. They've got you by the balls. They're going to threaten your family. They're going to threaten like your whatever you're in that system. So then at that point, you're like, okay, well, I guess to keep myself safe, to keep my family safe, whatever, I'm in here already. I might as well benefit from it. And at that
Mm,
point, it's just about keeping
yeah.
the people that are in power in power. That's
Yeah.
all they care about. All they care about is continuing to get their paycheck, keep their seat, keep their power. They don't care about you. They don't care about me. They don't care about anything
Nope.
else.
Nope.
It's
Well,
just
that's one of
not built for it. As much as they
yeah.
tell us that it's a democracy is the government for the people, absolutely not.
No, it's
It's
not.
not.
It's not even a democracy. It's a fake. But anyway, what? Yeah, it's
Yeah.
yeah. If you're still identifying with a side, what the fuck are you doing? They
Right.
don't. like
Right.
you, they don't care about, yeah,
It doesn't
but
matter
that's
who you elect, it doesn't matter who you vote for, it doesn't matter if you go and even vote for a third party and everybody
yeah, no. Oh,
like, maybe at that point you make a message known. That's, like, one of the things that I've heard from some people is, like, if everyone we had, like, record voter turnout, and everybody voted for the third party. Everybody voted for the ones that whatever. That would send a message to the rest of the people that are not out voting who are like, my vote doesn't make a difference because I want to vote for this third party, but they would never win anyway. Sends a message to them that, like, oh, okay, you actually can make a difference. And if you were there, maybe there would be a difference made. So you actually do get like a message out to other people like you who do want something different. But
Mhm.
if you think that you can be complicit in our current government system anywhere in the world and actually make a change and actually you know, have the people be in control again, have true democracy, like you're lying to
You're
yourself. Like
kidding yourself,
it's
yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's one of the other transits right now, or one of the astrological things that I meant to bring up and I forgot. So I'm glad you talked about this because, again, thousands of years of research. And I don't know what so when Pluto goes out of bounds to the south, which I know sounds like a lot of gibberish right now, and it's something out of bounds has something to do with the ecliptic and the thing and the thing. I don't really understand it, but when Pluto goes out of bounds to the south, whatever that even means,
Right. It's like
power,
a 23-degree angle or something. And when it goes outside of that 23-degree angle, it's out of bounds.
something like that. So when and
I know
Pluto
that
is
much.
now Uh, yeah, Pluto is now out of bounds to the south for about 4 months, and it will continue to do that for the next 10 years, about 4 months a year for the next 10 years, and then it's not gonna go out of bounds anymore to like for thousands of years. So this is and which again is unprecedented. So it's like
Right.
this period of time is anchoring in for the next 10 years the shift of the power to the people. So if you're listening to this and you're like, "Oh my god, I don't have any hope and like the government's always going to be this," no, it's not all going to be the same because this is the energy of the shift into this new era. And so they look like they still have power. The powers that were are just a were at this point. They're not are. It's like
Yeah.
they are no longer, but they still do have some power, which is why we're kind of, it's like energy can either be destroyed or created. It's like it can only be, transformed. And so all these old stories, all the old everythings that we're seeing right now, it's like it's slowly morphing into this new thing, but it can't just
Mhm.
happen overnight. It's like it's this, it would cause too much chaos. And so anyway, but it is going to happen. And astrology is just a map to the human experience at this point. Like that's what I think Hellenistic astrology is. It's a map to this inverted matrix in particular.
Yeah.
And I think like maybe Vedic astrology, sidereal astrology, those truer kind of things are more like actual universal
Universal, cosmic. Yeah,
whatever.
for
But
sure.
and I don't know, and I want to start studying the sidereal astrology, but I just haven't been able to. I don't even know where to start with that. And anyway, but so even studying Hellenistic astrology, though, you can still see what is happening with the map of this inverted matrix, and it is crumbling, and so it's going to be
Yeah.
okay. So we're not trying to like say that, oh, it's never going to get better. We are always
Right.
talking about how much it's going to get better, and so like,
Yeah.
but if you need proof or whatever, it's astrological proof of like all these years of research, we're going to be fine. But the transition is a
Rocky.
little bit scrunchy or whatever.
I like that word. Scrunchily.
That's
Yeah. I mean,
scrunchy.
like, that's the thing is, like, I love being all, positive, love, light, like, everything is like and, most of the time, I do feel that way because I
Yeah,
feel like, yeah, like, I can
it is.
see that future. I can feel it there. I know we're going towards it. I know that we will get there, at least as a species. Like like, I don't know about my lifetime or whatever it is,
Yeah.
but, like, the way it feels in my body is like, yeah, we're getting
Yes.
there. We're almost there. Like, we're, or at least, like, we're getting closer all the time, and as we get
So
closer, even though it might get messier, it is getting incrementally better in the sense of, like, how we're able to deal with it, how we're able to, like, you know,
cute.
be through it, like, how we're able to still enjoy life through it, how we're able to, like, drop those fears and drop those lacks and drop those things and have just more enjoyment and fulfillment in just being ourselves and being authentic and all those things like are adding to our human experience. Like they're
Mhm.
positive additions. But it's really important also to like acknowledge that, it's messy right now and it's going to keep being messy for a while. And it's like, it feels like those pockets of like really messy, like really, the wars that are still going on, like the, state control and whatever that is going on, the, overthrowing or of governments that is going on in specific places. Like that's encompassing those people's lives every day. That's severe. That's extreme. That's, you would call it much more than messy. But overall, like if you're looking at the whole world, the whole earth, those are very small pockets of this extreme activity. And then the rest is just kind of like the ripples out from that. And it's like what you choose to be aware of or don't, what you feel like you can deal with or you can't. And so it's still going to be, you know, it's still gonna be not a clean, like, wow, we rip off the Band-Aid and all of a sudden we're there. Like, it's not this.
Mhm.
I just don't I get frustrated when I see so many people, and this kinda goes along with the same thing with my videos where I'm like, I don't wanna just, like, pump people's egos and whatever anymore. Like, people don't like the videos as much when you're not like, "Everything's great, it's
Mhm.
gonna be great tomorrow, your whole life's gonna change." Like, your whole life is gonna change, and everything is gonna be great, but, like, is it gonna be tomorrow, and is it gonna be 100%, and are you gonna, like, literally go to sleep one night and then you wake up the next morning and you're in a new world, or you're just like at the grocery store and all of a sudden there's like a flash and
Yeah.
you're in, the new earth, and gone are all the people that, didn't make it, or like that's not what's happening. Like we're not having we are having a rapture of sorts, but we're not having it in the sense of like this is an instantaneous thing where boom. And I know we've talked about this,
Yeah.
like, enough times. I don't need to, like, keep belaboring it, but it's like we
It's
chose to
frustrating.
be in the transition. Like, we
Yeah.
are in, it's gonna be a transition. We chose, whether or not we remember or, like, agree with that now, like, that we're in a
Yeah.
body. It's like, but yeah, we're in a transition. So it's like it's messy and it's not gonna always be fun and it's not gonna always look like all the great things that everyone's talking about. Like those things are like the future vision. They're the like it's not a lie. It's not that these channelers or people like me or you, that can see that and feel that and speak to it are lying. Like that's a real thing. That's a real energy that exists. It's out there. It already is, but we're feeling the whole thing and it's going to come in pieces. It's going to be rebuilt like you just said, from the energy that's just all fallen down from the
Mhm.
ground up, like brick by brick, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, yeah, like we're going to be in a construction zone for a while. And
And
it's
so
just
I love
better
that.
to, I just think at this point, maybe it's a little nihilistic or whatever, but I just think at this point, in my own journey, in my own awakening, it's more helpful to look at it that way and just like take the wins and take those little beautiful, like learn to appreciate those small miracles,
Yeah.
learn to appreciate those glimmers, those little moments, like learn to appreciate all of those, learn to be patient, learn to be present, learn to be, with people and listen and like take those as big wins or wins at least as you
Yeah.
move along because you're not going to get the grand finale anytime. Like you're never really going to get the grand finale because at some point we will just be there, but there will
Yeah.
have been so much work and painstaking, like, and change and evolution and like earth change and natural disasters and like change of governments and change of countries and like there's going to be all of this to get
Mhm.
there. And so
Yeah.
we have to be realistic in the sense of like, yes, that's real. Yes, that's coming. It's awesome to hold on to that. We need to hold that vision, but we also need to just enjoy our lives in the meantime. We need to
Mhm.
find all the joy and all the peace that we can in every moment. Like, we don't know how long that's going to take. You're like, it's so don't, only wait on that and
Yeah.
like then, get depressed and whatever when it's not that snap your fingers
Yeah.
grand finale.
I hear your frustration too because I feel the same when people are like a lot of people in our communities are talking about like have been talking about like the great flash and everything's
A
going to change.
shift and
Mhm. The
yeah,
shift and they're whatever, but it's like so even though these futures are guaranteed, it doesn't mean we do nothing to get there. Like it's not
right.
going to you have to put in the work to do it. And I think that's what people that are kind of in that spiritual psychosis or even some of the more delusion, which is the Saturn and Neptune kind of thing where it's like Saturn is dispelling that illusion that things are just going to be so easy or like it's going to happen with a snap of fingers or someone's going to save it like aliens are going to save us or the government's going to save like that kind of shit. Those illusions are crumbling for people and like you and I we already know this stuff, but I think that's what a lot of these dark night of the souls are for people. It's especially
Right.
those people in spiritual psychosis who are like they think they're awake and to the matrix and all this stuff and they are to a certain extent, but it's
To an
like
extent, yeah, it's like
yeah,
all layers. It's yeah.
but then it's just like you gotta also do the work to get to get there.
Well, yeah, that's the thing is, yeah, your life can change overnight, but let's talk about what that actually is. Like, if your life has changed overnight, it's because you are projecting your whole reality. You're a projector. You're projecting onto basically a big screen, and then you're living that. That's your reality. You have changed your perspective
Mhm,
on reality, on your life. So if your life changes overnight, it's because you have had a grand change of perspective, which
mhm,
usually means that you've had a pretty big ego death or
mhm,
a brain breaking breakthrough moment, a dark night of the soul, as you're talking about. Like it doesn't just, or something's happened in your reality that just like confronts it all for you and puts it all on your face. And you're like, I can't avoid this anymore. Or wow, that really puts perspective on life when I see this person I love go to the hospital and almost die, but they're okay. And like, like these moments that like, yes, things can change in a moment, but they don't change without like your perspective changing, which
mhm.
means that that's big work for you.
Yep.
Like you don't just
Mhm,
change your perspective instantaneously. You might do that for a short period of time temporarily if you do like some plant medicine and like the ayahuasca or whatever. And like, yeah, then for a short period of time, you might have that whole change of perspective, look at everything differently. But if you don't do the work to integrate and you don't do the work to figure out what it was that you saw during that, why that changed your perspective, how that affects the rest of your experience, whatever, that's gone again. And then
mhm.
or you have little tiny pieces of it that you were able to integrate. So like, yeah, it comes with the dark night of the soul. Like your biggest expansion is going through your biggest fears or your biggest, suffering or discomfort, right? So it's just like I have to be careful because you want to balance it, right? It's like you don't want to be too like, yeah,
Right.
everything's great, it's gonna be good tomorrow, and you don't want to be too like, it's so hard. It's like, but it is a journey, and it is gonna be hard, and it's gonna keep being hard, but it's just gonna be hard in different ways, and you're gonna have different ways to deal with it, and it is better, and it is more like in the sense of it is more peaceful. It is you have more you've change your perspective to where your priorities are different and the things that you're putting your energy and your awareness into are different and that transforms your reality as well. And then you get to the point where maybe you have to, have less dark nights of the soul because you're so aware that you're like, ooh, I see myself putting my energy over here and to this distraction. And I know what's happening with that. And I don't want that in my life. So I'm going to redirect my awareness over here. And then maybe you don't have to have a whole crash and burn, scenario. And even
Mhm.
if it's like to a higher rock bottom or whatever, it's still not great and fun. So you don't have to do that every time. If you're aware, you're still
Yeah.
gonna have it happen sometimes because it's just the way it is. You're like such an infinite and expansive being. Like you're gonna hit walls. You're gonna hit things that your human self is like, that's not possible,
Nope.
or like,
Don't wanna do
nope, can't do that, or I'm not doing that, or like, I'm just freaking terrified of that, whatever it is. Like, of course, you're going to hit that because you're in a human body and you're an infinite being. But, it gets to the point where, like, your awareness and everything that you're building and doing all this work for, like, it makes it a lot more fun to be here. It makes it, like, a lot more, like, not a people don't like the game like it's a game, but, like, it does make it more like that in certain circumstances. Of course, we still have to, understand the severity of things that we can do here, like, but
Yeah.
yeah, it makes it more fun. Like it does. It makes it easier. It makes it more fun. It makes it more peaceful. It makes it, you're doing more of the things that you want and less of the things that you don't want. You're around more of the people that you like and less or hopefully none of the people that you don't and that don't give back to you. You're receiving more and more openly. You're doing things because you feel called to through your bliss, not because you feel like you need to prove your worth or because other people want you to or guilt or shame or like societal pressure, like that's all big stuff. And that makes a huge difference on a life lived. And like at the end of the day, we're here to live a life, we're here to have an experience. So those are the things that actually do make the biggest difference on your experience. As much as people think, oh, if there was just a harmonious world, oh, if there was just, if I had all the money, oh, if I just,
If
whatever,
if
life
this
would be better. No, it wouldn't if you don't clear those other things out. No, it would if your priorities are still all effed up and you win the lottery, a lot of people spend all their money and don't make it past a year or a couple of years afterwards because they're like, well, that was the thing I wanted and I had it and I was still miserable. So what's the point of being here? They haven't figured out how to have the happiness inside them. They haven't found the peace in themselves. So it's like, all these things that we think are like this magical fantasy world that we hope is going to flash and change overnight and then everything's going to be better. It's gonna get here through you when you're ready to have it because you've done the work. Otherwise, there's no way for it to exist
Yeah.
because you could have all those things and still be miserable.
Yeah, absolutely. I there's so many people who are talking about like, "Oh, if only this were happening or if I had then I could do blah blah blah." And it's like you got to do the blah 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 no matter what is in like no matter what obstacles are in your way.
Right.
And that's why these spiritual awakenings when you're coming through to that, like that's why this stuff, not a whole lot of people are gonna choose to do this. I mean, it's like your soul signed up for it, so you're gonna do it whether you like it or not. Or if your soul didn't sign up for it, you're gonna exit the game, you like whatever. But like you
Right.
it's like those are the mental constructs. Those are the self-imposed limitations where it's like, I can't do this if that. And there are certain things like because I've been doing this with like the money thing and like not having it. I've been so frustrated because I'm like, I could do so many things if I only had money. And it's like, well, look at what and yeah, like, I can't go out and spend a lot of things going out to eat or buying different clothes or, whatever the things I do want to do, take trips or whatever. But like there's so many other riches to have. And that's been my path where it's like, you don't okay, so yes, there's some reality where there's limitations where you can't go out to eat every day or, whatever that you want to do. But look at all the richness, like the rich inner world that I have and the rich experiences with friends I have and like, the garden that I've been able to start and like all these things. It's like I've had to learn how to move forward doing those things and living in joy without money or whatever I think is supposed to, if only I had this, then I could do
Yes.
that. It's like you got to just do it anyway. You got to do it scared. You got to do it. You got to do it no matter what is actually in your way. And then you see that all the things you want are on the other side of that. It's like, because you already have it. And then once you see where you already have it, that channel just grows wider and you get more and more of the things. So spiritual, these awakenings are not for the faint of heart because like, you your ego is going to tell you so many things about like I wish I had this or blah 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 and it's like, well, you're going to get those things, but you do have to do it even though you think you can't or whatever. I don't know. I think I just talked myself into a circle, but
No,
whatever.
but like exactly that. It's like, even with like, oh, I want to, give all this money away. Like I was saying, it's like, the guy on TikTok or whatever, like I want to give, $100,000 away just on the street to someone. Okay, well, yeah, you don't have that right now. So like
What
give
can you
away
do?
$2. Like if you
Yeah.
if you only have $20 in your bank account and you give away $2, that's still like 10% of what you
Yeah.
have, right? And that's huge. Like do that and show yourself that you are following through on that and show, the universe, but it's really just yourself, like
Mm,
that that's what you really want to do. Otherwise, the universe doesn't believe that that's what you really want to do. Like,
yeah.
there's so many things that we're like, oh, I want this. Oh, I want this. Oh, I want this. Okay, prove it. Like, do you really want it? Because it's just like, I was thinking about this with miracles the other, like, because my mom had a melanoma on her, like, of all places, like at the top of her spine, like right at the bottom of her neck. And I did a session on her, QHHT session way back, and when I was doing it, she was like, she's not like super spiritual, so she was not getting like super deep. She was going like into this life at childhood, not beyond. I was getting a little like, oh, a little frustrated, but like I want to do something bigger for her. I don't feel like we're getting to the place where we're going to make like the change I need to have. So I had this intuitive call to do some healing while I was in the hypnosis with her, and I flushed her system out and I like cleansed everything, and I was like, get it all out, like everything go." And as I did that, I like got so like my no I was just like sick. I was immediately sick. Like my nose was full. I was like coughing. It was so hard to keep my like hypnosis voice because I was just like everything wanted to come out of me, right? Like I was sweating all of a sudden. I just felt like, when you have a head cold and you're just full. And I was like, holy crap, like something just happened there. And then fast forward to, you know, recently. So that was like a year or a year and a half ago or whatever. And it was only like a couple months ago or 3 months ago that like one of her friends who also had a different kind of cancer was like, oh, hey, like you should get that checked out because it's in a place that's visible, right? Like that's, like it could have been farther down on her back where she's wearing a shirt most of the time. No one sees it or whatever, but it was in a place where it was visible. And so even though she had a doctor look at it who said to her, it's fine, don't worry about it, like earlier on,
Mm.
it was, obvious enough at this point and in an obvious enough a spot that she went back, got it checked out. Turns out it was melanoma, it was cancer. They resected it. They did a second resection surgery, took out one of her lymph nodes. We had to wait like 3 weeks to see. But that whole time, I'm just like, well, I know it's gone. I know it's gone. And then she just like yesterday or 2 days ago, she gave me the message from the doctor's office, all clear, sobbed my face off,
Yay.
didn't realize I was even, yeah, holding that much like of that
Yeah.
emotion, but I was so just relieved and grateful and everything. And then I had that session pop into my mind as I was kind of crying. And I was like, holy shit. Like we cleared so like everything from the deepest layers up to the surface so that it could be seen. So
Yeah.
like it's like, yes, Western medicine had to go in and take it off. Yes, somebody else had to be like, hey, did you see this? Did you get this checked out? Yes, she had to go back to multiple things. But that's still a miracle. Like
Mhm.
that's still a
Absolutely.
miracle, the way that that all occurred. And I think that we don't recognize in life enough when we have these miracles or we have like these moments that are like these huge moments where the universe is talking to us and it's like saying, hey, like I heard you and I did, the thing that you wanted. And if we don't acknowledge that, to kind of bring it all the way full circle to like land this
Yeah.
plane, if we don't acknowledge those moments when the universe actually gives us what we want, like I've asked to be like a miraculous healer, I've asked to be a facilitator or a vessel for miracles, right? Well, if I don't like in a moment where it's like, here's a clear miracle, like with your mom, which is the reason that you did the QHHT thing in the first place, and it's the only person you've really done a session on, like since you've been done. Like, if you're not going to recognize that as a miracle, like, why am I going to send you more
Yeah.
miracles? Like, why am I going to send you more of what you don't even acknowledge that is it? Okay, so you said you want this, but did you actually? Because, like, here it is, and you're not even aware. So
Yeah.
it's like, you have to, yeah, like ask for it, want it, but then you have to show the universe that you want it. And you
Yeah.
also have to acknowledge when you get it. So you have to be aware and be like, oh, like, because it's going to interpret it whatever way it needs to interpret it for you. You don't get to decide how that shows up, that miracle. You don't get to decide what time frame it's in. You don't get to decide, like, if it shows up, it shows up. And you better, be like, oh, hey, that's that thing. And give yourself the credit and give yourself the acknowledgement. Be like, yeah, I called that in and here it is. Not like, oh, like that's the other thing about miracles is like realizing that it is our reality. We are creating it. Yes, you created that miracle. Yes, that was you. Yes, you are that powerful. Does that mean that you should call yourself Jesus online and go walk on water and tell everybody that you can miraculously heal them? No, it doesn't. But it's important in your own experience that you acknowledge what you are capable of and what you do, or you're not going to keep growing further into that and doing more of that and
Yep.
getting more of that, what you actually want.
Absolutely. Oh my god. I just was thinking about this stuff when I was kind of reflecting on my journey over the past few years and how the gratitude channel, it's like I felt like I didn't have anything. Like when I was starting off on this journey, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I have no abilities. I'm, no self-worth, all that stuff." And then nothing good was happening to me, those kinds of things. And then um when I started to see, like, grateful for little things, and I mean, I was so low, I thought I had nothing that like, I had to start with going on a walk and being grateful for the trees and the
Mhm,
clouds and the sunshine, and I was like that I felt like that was all I had because I was like, "Nothing is good in my life." I was
mhm,
like, "Let me just start with a little thing." And it was like the drip, drip, drip of, like, being grateful for
mhm.
the trees or my own breath or any of that stuff, and I felt stupid a lot of times too because I was just like, who cares if I have trees or whatever? But I was like, I knew I needed to practice.
Right,
And I do love trees, but when you want bigger things and you're like, I have to be grateful for a tree, what the fuck? And then it just the channel just gets so much wider. And it's like once you
mhm,
feel that gratitude and the acknowledgement, like, it just and when I couldn't be grateful, I could at least be because sometimes gratitude is like I could appreciate things. I was like, okay, I'm too low or I'm too mad or whatever it is to be I'm so grateful. Okay. Fuck that. I can appreciate that. And that's the
yeah,
same energy. It's like it's this appreciating something is the same as being grateful. It's like, okay, I appreciate, whatever. And then the things just get wider. And now I'm like, oh my God, look at how much stuff I have. Look how many amazing things happen to me. Like all these miracles, just and no, there's a lot of stuff that I still want, blah, blah. So it's not like I am
mhm,
where I want to be or whatever, but I also am where I want to be, like it's like I really appreciate I can see all the steps that I have taken. I can see all of my journey. It's like I'm reborn in a way where I was like this
mhm.
baby, but like I have all this awareness of, I'm not a baby, but like I feel like a baby because I'm like, oh my God, every little thing is new. And it's like, even though it's not, it just
It's the
feels new. And
wonder, like, it's the
yeah.
yeah, that school energy, right? Like, looking at the world with that childlike wonder again,
Mhm.
which, like, you do have to reclaim, like, painstakingly.
It is. For me, it was definitely painstaking.
Yeah.
But now that I have that, it's like the inner child is like that's the healing, and it's interesting. Zaddy Cat and I were talking about this, like the inner child healing that people talk about, and it's like I didn't I don't have like memories of like what my inner child really wanted to do. It's like I kind of
Mhm,
just I didn't have dreams or whatever. Like I don't even when in high school or whatever, when people will be like, "Where do you see yourself in 5 years?" I'm like, I don't know. Like I just never had like those big ideas of something my inner
right.
child really wanted to do. But the way that my inner child has been healed is like me finding the newness and the wonder and the beauty and like the gratitude and like wow, every little thing. It just feels like a playground, even though it is just sitting out in the trees or whatever. I'm like, I'm sitting down in the tree. I can talk to trees. What the hell? So it's like the inner child healing can look any way. So if anyone else is kind of just like, I don't have, how do you heal an inner child kind of thing? Like, what are we talking about? It's like, just
Mhm.
appreciate the newness of things. And like,
Yeah.
I saw a post, I don't know if it's a Tumblr post or some meme or like whatever. It was like, every time I get depressed or something like I don't want to live here anymore, like whatever it is, it's like, I just remind myself or I think about like, I just wish I could have it's like a wish fulfillment. It's like maybe they died and it's like I wish I could see a lake again. I wish I could love my friends again. And so
Mhm.
they approach life like that where it's like every single thing is like, "Oh my gosh, I lived without this. Now I get to have it. Oh, and so that's the kind of
Yeah.
thing that can heal an inner child that's like and then you find the things that you wanna do. Like, if you had asked my child self, "Do you wanna be a regenerative farmer Twitch streamer?" No. Like, what? But that's the thing
What
that
is
has
that?
led
Yeah.
me. That's what healing this inner child has led me is to like,
Mhm.
"Oh, what does my adult self want?" And it's just like this beautiful kind of journey. So, don't worry,
Well,
you're gonna make it.
yeah, no, and that's such great points. Like, number 1, there's always gonna be days where you're just not feeling like you have anything to be grateful for. Be grateful for your breath, be grateful for waking up, be grateful for and like you said, be appreciative if you can't be grateful. Start somewhere, right? Just like the awareness of it is so huge. It's such a good point. The other thing with the inner child is like, yeah, like there's so many people who either just didn't have something that like stood out to them that they really wanted to do, or because of a very like subdued, like emotionally neglectful or um abusive childhood or whatever, like just didn't get the chance to use that imagination or feel those feelings or whatever. And so along with the, you know, like I would say along with what you said, just being curious, like just
Curious.
being
Yes.
curious and staying curious and like in the way that a child is, where it's like, I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna like, if I have someone walking with me and I see something on a plant, I might ask them like, "Oh my gosh, do you know what that is? Have you ever seen that before?" Or, like as a child, like, "What is that? What's" like, "Why?" Like all those kind of like those child questions. But like, if I was a child and I didn't have anyone else out there, I probably would just look at it and
Mhm.
think about it for a minute and be like, that might be this, or oh, that looks like one of these things, or whatever. And then like go about my little, frolicky day, maybe even forget about it. But it's like that curiosity that's like paired with that wonder, where it's like I can be curious about something and not have to, dive into every rabbit hole and know everything about it. I don't have to know how to change it or fix it or understand it all. I just want to be curious about it. And like, I really enjoy, especially now with how much there's like, chat GPT and, everything is available. I love just wondering. I love just like, I'm not going to pick up my phone and ask for the answer to this question. I have a very specific question I could ask. And like, I know I could get like all I need to, and chat GPT would be like, this is it. But I just like put it aside and I give myself 5 or 10 minutes just to like wonder first. Just be like, I wonder what, the answer to this is and come up with some things. And most of the time, they're, either like the answer or like a part of the answer and there's more, or like there's, multiple answers, but that's one of them. Like we have the ability to just like commune with nature and
Mhm.
connect with nature and be like, why do you do this thing, nature? And nature will show us or tell us or, whatever way that you have of like intuiting and transcribing these energies. So it's like, let yourself be curious, let yourself wonder, be in that wonder and that play. And yeah, like just, I mean, then it comes down to like adult, inner child, whatever, just following your bliss, right? Like you
Mhm.
might not have known what you really wanted to do then, but following your bliss now is what a child does anyway, right? Like they're just
Absolutely.
that's I mean, if they're living the ideal, what we would hope to be giving our children, they can just go through the meadow and follow that butterfly all the way to wherever and climb that tree and then back, whatever.
Yeah.
Like they're just following their bliss. And like if we're doing that, like our inner child is like, yeah, okay.
Exactly.
This is healing. This is healing. Thank you.
Yeah, it's kind of awesome because it's like I know the inner child can't drive the bus necessarily because you still got to you still got to do stuff, but they can be the navigator. And I really feel like I'm in a really great place with the inner child, which I've never been in touch with my inner child until recently. And so it's like I know I need to be the one, I need to be the adult in the room, but like also she is with me, being like, it's cool when you eat dessert for breakfast or like what, I don't know, just little things, just little stuff, and she's so happy and like, I don't know. I really it's not like I'm living my life for her, but I also kind of am because I am her, and I've just peeled away the layers of like
No.
where did I lose that joy of life and that kind because I really had I had lost a lot of the spark, and so it's really
Yeah.
nice to have her kind of just at my side, and she was and I had this, like, I know, we probably we've been talking for a while, but I just wanna say one more thing about my little inner
Sure, yeah.
child thing because I back when I was living in Montana, so this is kinda like earlier days of, like, one of the earlier years of me doing all this stuff, I was doing a breathwork session where I ended up meeting my inner child, and I was like I went up to her and I was, like, so sad, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, I give you a hug, I'm gonna protect you," and I couldn't figure out why she was just kinda, like, standing there smile like, she didn't look injured, she didn't look sad, she whatever, and I was like, "Wait, what?" And she was like, You're the one." She was like, I was waiting for you." Like, "You're the one who has all the trauma," and so I was like, "She is this still pure spark of joy," and she was like, "I'm here to also help you." And I was like, "Oh my god." It was like this huge thing. So I didn't see her in this light, though everyone until that point I had heard talk about the inner child. It was just like, "Oh, and she's gonna be so injured," or, blah, 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 whatever. And I was like, "That was not my experience at all." And it was just really that she did a lot of healing on me. And so anyway, it was just an interesting two-way street there that I was not expecting when I started this inner child healing work.
Yeah, yeah, I would, like, agree with that, and echo that too. Like, my inner child, whenever, like, I do interact with her, like, there's, like, inner teen versions of me that,
Oh,
got
yeah.
heartbroken and, like, they, had a harder time. But my inner child, she's usually pretty, like,
You're good.
just yeah, she's good. She's happy. She's like, "Oh, like, you were gonna do this again? Like, that's
Mhm.
awesome. Like, yay,"
Oh.
So that's healing in the sense of just letting her out. But yeah, it's more healing to me than anything because I'm the one going like, wait a second, like, I was told all these things that I need to do and the way life needs to be as an adult and blah, blah. And I understand why our parents teach us what they do. And it's like, you have to be able to look after yourself. You have to be able to take care of yourself in this big, scary world. Like, there
Mhm.
has to be rules and whatever. But so much of what we're taught is like, it has to be this way is like, no, it doesn't. And so, like, those moments like, I'm gonna eat cereal for dinner or pancakes for dinner, or like those like silly things that you're like, wait, why? Like, or I'm gonna eat a whole cake, or like what? I don't know why it's all about eating for me, but we understand like what my inner child is all about. But it's like, yeah, those things are okay. Those things are fine. Those are like beautiful parts of life that you should enjoy. And it's like you kind of just like the inner child is what helps you decondition that like, oh, this is the only way to do it because this is how, this is if I do it, if I don't do this, like I'm a mess or I'm not a real adult or I whatever. It's like, um, pretty sure no matter if society thinks I'm a real adult or not, I still have to take care of myself. I still have to like feed myself. I still have to keep myself alive and my animals. Like I still have to be an
Mhm.
adult. So I don't really care if I don't fit the category of what an adult is, as long as I'm okay.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
yeah,
I'm just calling it, like, "Don't give a fuck mode activated." I'm just like,
I like that.
"DGAF activated." I'm like,
I
"Mm,"
like that.
and I really don't care anymore. It's really, really nice because I cared a lot. I could oh my gosh, that people pleasing stuff. It's just anyway, but it's again part of the
Yeah.
reality check. The eclipse was how much progress I have made on that, and I really don't care. And it's interesting because even though in the past few Twitch streams that I've done, I've had this heckler that comes on and is like insulting me or whatever. I just am like, I I don't care, and I can see a previous
Or
version
telling
of
you
me
that
being
you're a horrible person because you would like it if they want extra very specific advice and wanna keep asking you the same questions that they would have to pay you for a session.
yeah.
Like, I'm
I'm like,
sorry, who do you think you are? Like, why do you think that you're entitled to more of anybody's energy? And this goes for anybody online who comes on and wants to
"Oh,
like anybody who makes a video, has a platform, whatever, and they wanna come on and be like, you need to give me this because you're supposed to be in service. And I already just gave you
mhm."
more energy than you obviously deserve. Like just
Exactly.
by being here on this screen, like you might not realize it, but if I didn't put my energy into that, you would not be seeing me right now, or there would not
Yeah.
be a comment section to come in with your, comments.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
like, no,
and
like
even
we don't. like, we don't take that. Like, if they want specific advice, they can pay for that time and that energy because that is worth something that is valuable. If they don't have something of equal value to barter or offer back, they better have money because that's how we do
Mhm.
it still right now. So,
Exactly.
like, you're not gonna
I
come in and
agree.
be like, "Oh, you're a bad person because 'cause you're a spiritual person and you can because you know these things, they should be free for me."
Mhm.
Excuse me? Like, they
Yeah.
weren't free for me.
I
Like, they
know.
weren't free for you. Like, we've done how many courses and, like, workshops and, like, different healing modalities, and then not to mention the years upon years of journaling and dark nights of the soul and self-work and all the stuff that no one ever sees.
No
Like,
one is, yeah.
it's like, yeah, but you should get that for free, super easy. It's
I
like
know.
it's like that wouldn't you wouldn't learn what you need to learn anyway. You're not gonna be changed by that. I'm not gonna be able to heal you if that's your attitude, like,
Mhm.
within a
Yeah.
session or whatever. Like, I'm not even gonna take your money. I'm not even gonna work with you because you're clearly not ready to actually change. You're not ready to do the work yourself. You're not ready to take accountability. You're not ready to step out of victimhood. So
Mhm.
stay in victimhood until you are actually at a rock bottom that causes you to change. And then
Mhm.
you will start to see why everybody acted the way, hopefully, why everybody acted the way they did to you in those moments. Like, it's not a lack of compassion. It's not being a horrible person. It's not being greedy. It's not any of these things. It's all about you. And, like,
Mhm.
that's what it comes down to. So,
Yeah, no, I definitely it's really nice because I had given so much of my power to other people's opinions. It was like everyone else was always correct and I was
Mhm.
not, including about myself. Like if other people's opinions about me were always correct, I'm like, "Oh shit, I do need to do all this, whatever." And so now that I'm like getting the feedback, similar feedback of like, okay, external opinions are saying bad things about me or whatever, I'm like, and I feel that ghost program where I'm like, "Oh, are they right?" And it's like, "Actually, no, they are not." And so it's very nice to see my again, freedom. It's like it's so nice to see myself in this
yeah.
energy of like, I really I know best, and it's not that I'm not listening to other people. If I genuinely hurt someone or if I genuinely need to make improvements or there's a genuine reason, I can feel that resonance of like, "Oh, okay, I do need to work on this or I do need to change this or whatever." But like I can now feel the difference between like a people-pleasing reaction versus like an actual like valuable feedback or whatever. So anyway, and I don't think those things are gonna stop necessarily because people are who they are, and it's like people are
Right.
always commenting or whatever, but it's like
Yeah,
a
they're on their
really
journey and there's,
yeah.
some people are going to move on their journey to, whatever. And then there's more people that are waking up and are going to be new on that journey. So yeah,
Mhm.
it's like, it's going to keep happening. But like you said, like the freedom, like that is abundance of freedom,
Mhm.
abundance of mental freedom. Think of like the gift that is that you give to yourself when you heal that, which yes is not easy as we've just discussed, like which yes many dark nights of the soul, many like people pleasing, like just feeling yucky in your body the whole time, all of these things for like a whole lifetime. But like
Yeah.
look, when you actually heal it, like now someone can say something to you and it's not in your head all day, or you're not spending half an hour or an hour responding to them or talking to them or giving them your energy. Now you're not, obsessing about what someone said or like changing your life or how you do something based on someone else's opinion of you. Like the freedom, the time, the
Um,
mental, like just peace that comes, like those are gifts. That is awesome. That is why we do this. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, definitely not feeling the need to explain myself like I used to too. It's like, okay, I don't need to convince you because honestly,
no,
that's what we're seeing right now. It's like we're seeing the people that we just cannot argue with because they cannot be reasoned with. So don't argue in the first place. Allow yourself to be misunderstood by people who don't matter. And I could feel this in the collective. I feel like the whole shit. I feel like this Pisces eclipse really brought out that new leveling up for a lot of people, especially the content creators that I follow. They're
mhm,
starting to all talk about how they're like, "Why am I arguing with people in my comments? I don't need to explain myself to you." And I'm like, "Yeah, I feel
right.
the same way." And it's really, really nice. So I think we're all kind of leveling up at this era, and it's really, that's who are the new leaders are going to be, the people who don't need to. We've been siphoning our energy off to these people that we think we need to explain ourselves to, and it's like when we take all that energy back, we're so much more powerful. Oh my gosh, and there's so much more freedom, and there's so much more peace, and like, yeah, I have a lot of respect for myself right now, and I am really proud of that because I did not respect myself very much at all.
Oh,
And
yeah,
so
like, that's the biggest thing, like, building that, like, belief and
self-worth.
respect in yourself and not, like, doubting yourself on the first off chance or something that someone says, like,
Right, yeah.
I've done, like, even recently, been down that road with exactly this, like, it was someone in the comments, and I knew that I had nothing to prove. I knew that I did not have to engage with this person. So I kind of I engaged, but in kind of my own little experiment, like, okay, here's someone who I could take this comment and immediately be defensive and immediately be like, blah, 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 whatever, snarky. I could block them, I could whatever. Or I could, like, I read it again and I'm like, okay, but there's some things in here, like maybe this person is trying to actually understand. Maybe this person is trying to actually just ask me questions and learn more. Maybe they're curious. You don't know the tone by comments. Let's see, right? And I went, through the process with this person of like, very gently and compassionately responding to their messages and then them responding back with something that was like, okay, there's a little bit in here where maybe you're continuing the conversation, but most of this is just you trying to tell me everything that you know and that you're better than me and that you're higher up somehow in hierarchy. And so you understand something that I don't understand. And so, you're trying to, and so, it got to the point where it was very obvious that this person was not there to have a constructive discussion, was not there to learn, was not there because they wanted clarification on something. They were there to tell me who they were and who I was not. And in my on my
Oof.
video, in my thing, for reasons in their comments that like are still just baffling to me, but that's that's the mindset they came in with and that's what they were trying to do. And so it was really interesting because I was like, let me enter into this without charge, without like attachment. I'm not trying to I know I'm past that. I'm not trying to prove myself. I don't care. I will block this person in an instant or just leave them there and not even think about them again. It's fine. But let's see. And so it was really like this, like I really felt like I had a lot of respect for myself in that moment for, engaging in that way, like giving it the chance to play out. Like I'm not going to jump to conclusions. I'm not going to put words in your mouth. I'm going to wait for you to actually say it to me. And then, yes, my intuition was right. Yes, this is not, something I'm going to spend any more time on. But, it gave me that experience of like, yeah, like I'm trying. I'm trying to be here with people, have interaction, have open discussion, not shut anybody down. Everybody's got their truth. My truth is only one of them. Like it's not everything. I want to talk with people. Like I say that all the time on my videos. Like I love interacting. That's why I'm here. Like leave me a comment. So I kind of had to like do that for me and my integrity to be like, yeah, I'm trying to listen. But at the end of the day, there's these people that are just they're not looking
Mm,
to
yeah.
interact. They're not looking to connect. They're looking to separate. They're looking to, put themselves up here and you down here, or them up here and everybody else down here, or grandstand or whatever it is. And yeah, like the amount of fucks that I have to give for these people. You will look upon the field where I grow my pucks, and thou shalt see it is barren. But yeah, it's just there's nothing, I don't have anything left. It doesn't affect me. It doesn't get to me. Like I don't feel less worthy. I don't feel like, oh, maybe they're right and I don't know anything. Like I just feel like,
Good.
cool, that's where you're at. And you just showed me and I know where I'm at. And so we're done. Like that's,
Hell
that's
yeah.
it. And then, I don't I don't interact with those people. There's not that many of them, like luckily on my stuff,
Good.
but I don't reach very many people these days anyway. But like, like it's yay algorithm. But yeah, it's like
So
I don't. I don't feel the need to respond anymore. I don't feel the need to prove myself. I am who
Mhm.
I am. That's all I can be and all I want to be, quite frankly. Like, I don't want to take on the burden or the responsibility of being anything else for anyone else. I don't want you to give me a title. I don't want you to give me your power.
Yeah,
Like,
right?
keep
Seriously.
that, be sovereign. I plan to do the same and we're good. We can walk next to each other on this journey. We could hold hands, we could not, we could just be there, whatever. But like, that's what we're doing. We're all just walking. So
Yeah, walking each other home.
walking
Don't
each other home. Exactly.
good old Ram Dass.
Yes.
Mm. Oh my
Ah,
gosh, it
how do
was
we
so
feel
nice
about
to
that? That was,
yeah, I was gonna say, it's really nice to talk
we're
with you
both
again. I mean,
sweaty. We both, like, both got really passionate and into it at different times.
yeah. I feel like I could
That's,
talk for hours and hours
I
more, but I
know.
at some point we have to stop and save it.
I know.
I'm like, "No, don't leave yet." But
I
yeah, I feel
know, I know,
like
like, yeah, I feel like this is a good wrap up for this
mhm.
episode. We might continue to talk afterwards,
Oh
but
my
unfortunately for you guys, you don't get to hear all of that juicy goss. Just kidding, we're both pretty boring, but like,
Keep it
not to
100.
each other, but yeah, like, just, in general.
I
Not a
love
lot happening, no red carpets and,
you.
betrayal and backlash in our lives, but
Pretty chill. We don't leave our
but
houses.
yeah. But I'm glad we got to record from within this eclipse because I think even just tapping back into this energy or when people do tap into this energy when it comes out will be very interesting because the energy will
Mhm.
be already very different at that time.
Oh, yeah.
So we might get a lot of, funny sensations and shocks and things as different things hit us in the different, energy that we're in. But I'm glad we did it and we
Me
covered a
too.
lot.
Yeah,
And yeah, thank you for this
I'm
awesome
excited.
discussion.
Yeah, happy eclipse, everybody. Happy equinox. Happy all the crazy energies. We're gonna make it. We're gonna be okay. But we'll record again soon because there's gonna be stuff to talk about, I feel like, in the next few months. I
There
just
always
feel like
is.
a lot of stuff is coming. So
Energy just keeps moving. Let's
yeah.
bring about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. It's gonna be packed full fall. So we'll be back to talk about whatever I don't know. Whenever it is, we come
Whatever
back.
flows through and smacks us in the face next, you'll know about it.
Exactly.
KK and
Mhm.
Shay signing off. See you
See
next
ya.
time.